today I wanted to talk to you about a chapter entitled Clubs in my book Piglet. As you probably know, it's a book about gypsy magic, symbolism, and family circles. Okay, unrepeatable experiences that we all get. Okay, sometimes we just probably don't notice. So the first thing I wanted to tell you is I've noticed that very often things happen 3 times. Like if somebody wants to induce fear in you, then they will go and give you the same experience 3 times. And just being a little girl, maybe in the first, second, or third grade, I started to go to swimming classes. And as I was swimming, I started to drown, and I grabbed my friend's, pants to rescue myself and the line over here. And then right after that, I think it was right after that, we went to jump on the very deep water, and I jumped, and I was missing some air, and I was scared that I wouldn't reach the surface of the water, but I managed to do that. And after that, I had to jump yet once again. So there was still a little bit of difficulty, but less. And on that basis, I climbed that, you experience things 3 times quite often. And if they don't work, if they don't work the way somebody wants them to work on you, if they don't induce the fear that it's permanent in you in relation with water, then they will go about it in a different way. And in a different way, I have an example with my cat. So we had a beloved cat that we loved. It was just a regular black cat. And, the cat ran away 3 times. And all 3 times it was rescued. So, it climbed the wall, and my brother had to climb and get the cat, and it jumped down to the shop, from my balcony you could see the roof of the shop, so you could go underneath and then jump inside. So he did that. He rescued our cat, and the third time the cat ran away was, it went to the yard and then climbed the wall again and then fixed itself on the tree, and this time we just had to call the services to get some help. So all these 3 times it just didn't work. The cat was still with us and it wasn't lost. So once the cat got pregnant, my mother said, such a cat cannot be kept home, because once they have children, they will want to have more children. She gave the cat away. And yet another example when 3 times something happened, this time something good, I met a boy that was, I felt something too, but he was a chicken inspector, and the context in which we met was just, I was in a hurry, I was angry, I was just unpacking everything around me, and thinking of the train I was about to catch, and he was like, yeah, let's look for your ticket, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving at this platform and I don't have the time, and he's like, I will leave with you. So I'm sitting on the pavement, angry, going like 3 times or even more times over the things, and I cannot see the ticket I knew I bought. And then once I found it, he asked me if I would like to meet him. And I am thinking, no, I was so angry. But in fact, there were a lot of factors that played on me, like the train that I am missing out on, and the anger I was handling, and stress with looking for the ticket. But yeah, there was something in the air, and then I was wondering, why wouldn't I? And then I saw him 2 more times, 2 more times at the bus stop or on the tram. So in his area, in his settings. I'm telling you that quite often, on the positive and on the negative, both of these come 3 times. But there's this. The third story is actually the main story that I focus on in my book. I focus on, well, just depicting the reality as it was created with a lot of manipulation from the people I believe have developed extrasensory perception, so they can see and do with their own willpower, with their own words, and with their own energy, and with covered hypnosis, they can do things you don't suspect, right? So the third situation is the situation regarding the fun. So around my home flat, there was a new gypsy restaurant opened, and with time, a fan showed up too. But at the very beginning, once they opened, my mother had a lot of things about it. She was angry. She would shut the door to the restaurant because once they kept it open, she would say, "Oh, it's stinky, it's stinky." It was stinky in the flat. So she would file some petitions on them, and so on and so on. That was the thing, right? So they would argue too, and I saw 3 arguments. And the very first time I saw the argument, I was in the flat, and I didn't leave the flat to go out and help anyhow with the argument, because I was younger then, I just younger than my parents, right? Younger than my siblings, so I didn't know what could I add to all that, and yeah, so that was the first conversation. The second time, the first argument I saw through the window. The second time the argument happened, they were standing in a circle in front of our flat, and I was coming back home, maybe from the shop, from school. I was coming back, I entered the circle, I looked at them, and I had a feeling, I could add something, I could help something, like as if a thought appeared in my mind that I could do that, and everyone was quiet, and everyone was like looking at me, and we were looking at each other, and I was like, well, I'm sorry, but you're old, I didn't think it right back then, but now as I'm reflecting on that, you are adult people, you don't need to scream. I entered the house, and the third time I saw it was just 2 couples, mom, dad, and cabbage lady and cabbage man, so to say. And that man started to yell terribly at my father, and so I opened the window and I stuck the phone out and I started to record the situation so that he knew, if anything, we have some evidence, because that was really, really a big yell. And my phone didn't manage to record it, but as I was pretending to record, and I kept on pretending to record, he had to just lower his voice down, and that was always some support for my family. I believe it was my support for my father. Yeah. So what I want to tell you here now, it was about 3 situations, right? When I see these people, cabbage lady, cabbage man, heady lady, and there were two couples that give me 3 the same situations, modified, but it's the story about a conflict, but modified, right? Modified variables. And then maybe I didn't react the way they wanted me to, so I met the cabbage lady in a different context, in a hotel, after having a fling with a man. I left the hotel room in the morning, and I saw the lady with no cup of coffee, no juice, nothing. She was just sitting and staring at me. She's a very beautiful lady and a very nice looking lady. But when walking that corridor at 6 o'clock and seeing her with no second person to talk to, with no juice, no coffee, like as if it seemed she was there for me, and I had this thought, oh, she will tell my mom I had a fling, and she would tell my mom exactly that I was a whore. I was about 27, 28 years old, So even if you tell my mom I have sex, then yes, I do. I have sex. So that was weird for me. And then I kept on seeing her in front of my flat. She would smoke a cigarette. She would leave her restaurant and smoke a cigarette. Um, and I had the same thought, that she would tell my mom. And that in itself isn't, maybe that worrying, right? But what's worrying is actually, I had a thing with her son too. So um, that was many years ago when I was still a teenager, and I had a fling with a man who couldn't have sex. And that man is very similar, who married into my family. So in that regard, and these people, cabbage, there is a difference of one letter only in their surnames. So that's what's worrying, actually, that the world starts to be smaller and smaller when it comes to gypsy people and gypsy magic. And when it comes to the second couple, heady, I call them heady people. So, I was I worked in a strip club with the girl who looked like a heady lady, and I studied English philology with the girl who looked like a heady lady, and I worked in Holland with where I had a boss who looked just one to one, precisely the same like this heady man. And when I was employed to the strip club, I was employed by a woman who looked like a heady woman again. So therefore I think that with these three situations that were repeating, and then something else happened, I think it was acted out, right? Okay. Yeah, so that's it for that video, and I hope you got some interest in my book, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.